Yeah, we're finally getting into it. We have Syracuse against Clemson University, not University of Clemson. Is that correct?
Yes, it is Clemson University. That was something that we made fun of in the interview. But without further ado, Boost on the Beach 24 continues with Game 1.
Yeah, we get the fun little cinematic. Get to see the city skyline looking a lot bluer than we're here down in Myrtle Beach. We got a lot of moisture.
A lot of rain, a lot of rain. But, you know, it may be raining outside, but I'm hoping that we're going to see goals raining in as well. As the clock officially hits 0, we are back. Let's hop straight in.
Yeah, and it's really going to be what these rotations look like. We are seeing Syracuse push forward, get an attack on goal.
So far, ball's just going to hover across that Clemson net. They need to start fast. You do not want to let Syracuse start slowly building pressure and finding each other in the midfield. Ball's going to roll dead center. Syracuse up 1-0.
And that is a momentum halter if you're Clemson. You don't want to, you already know that you're in the downward position here, right? You should be trying to control the tempo, stifle, delay that first goal. You don't want to see it roll in like that.
The midfield play is what separates so many of these middle-of-the-pack teams because there's so many weird combos of GC3s, GC2s, SSLs. Everyone's got their different experiences. But wait a minute, Clemson's got theirs showing off.
Canova just going in. Okay, we allowed a goal, so what? Let's go next.
That's that momentum that you mentioned, and that's a huge goal for them, especially, again, coming off that 2-0 loss to UNCC. And now this is a team that, again, we talked about this in the pre-show a little bit, that they've only played once, and Clemson didn't get a single game. But these guys, they could care less. They weren't there. They let the old heads of Clemson lose that one just so they could come back and take this one, maybe.
Yeah, we're at a clean slate. We got the demo, and Chosen takes it into the net.
Chosen just absolutely, I mean, the path just opens up here. Canovo rotates through, gets the bump, wide open bottom end, and Canovo's going to find it. Or Chosen, sorry.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of like double commits on defense where it's almost like, okay, I see you right there. You're obviously going to go for the block here. And then you're like, oh no, obviously you're going for the block here, right?
Yeah, it's the comms on land is such a different aspect that people forget about. It's like, oh, it's esports, you're playing video games, just twiddle your thumbs without being nervous. But it's the talking, it's the mental game, and it's finding each other in the midfield, and that shot left side, what a save, but the shot's still on.
Yeah, they're still attacking here. Masao got another shot on, but it looks like Patrick's going to be able to take it out, pass it to Mason, and try to get it past the Clemson half court.
But Clemson still keeping that pressure on. Player misses. Ball falls under the middle. Top side takes a bounce. Masao going to keep it down off the ceiling. Here goes Masao. Down in the middle. Nobody's there for Clemson.
Mason and Masao were just in a dangerous tango, and Mason was able to get it out the last second. Finally gets the ball across half court for the first time in a minute. Gets the demo, but isn't able to convert anything on top of that.
Syracuse finally getting a little bit of pressure, but Clemson on the quick counterattack, but that ball's on net. One player for Clemson's left. Shot goes left side. Tie game at 2 apiece.
A lot of good passing on the side of Syracuse here. I mean, ball touched 3 different cars before it went in. Thought it was going to be Mason, thought it was going to be Patrick, and then, of course, it's Gav once again from the back.
On the theme of orange, when you're playing Rocket League, you have to have the memory of a goldfish. You have to, if you're getting pressured and that shot that went off the top side, you got to forget that and immediately get back on offense, as Clemson almost doing their impression of that. But that's the Syracuse momentum that makes them different, that keeps them in this, even though Clemson, surprisingly, kind of getting the pace of the game controlled.
Yep. Syracuse taking advantage of that pace, pushing, being very offensive with the ball here. We're not going to let you push the ball back on our side. Oh my gosh, just walks through.
I mean, dead center, they find each other on the counterattack. It's a fast break 1-2, and Canovo's just there to beat a player and sets it dead center.
It's that defensive double commit once again. We saw 2 Syracuse players sitting right next to each other at that half court.
Teams and how they control their third man in rotation are so different at this event. Some are extremely aggressive. They'll put 3 guys up and hope for the best. And some will play defensive. Both these teams not really showing much, but Chosen, first man getting 2 plays, but this is Patrick getting an incredible play out to stall for his team.
Yeah, demos have just been going crazy for the side of Clemson so far. Chosen is just going crazy.
Demos are what some people like to call the low-skill mechanic. GC2s can do it, Plats can do it, and it makes the difference. And it's why Clemson has the lead. But right now, pressure's maybe getting a little awkward. That ball goes off backboard, but the third man from Syracuse not going to commit.
Mason, shot on goal, pass in front. Gavilan in the back, and Masao got there to knock it up a little bit.
So far, this ball just bouncing in the midfield. Teams maybe finally settling into a rhythm after getting this lane experience. That ball goes middle. Awkward touch for no, this is Pat. We'll see if that's Masao, I believe, getting one middle. Yes, it is, but there's Syracuse player there first.
And Syracuse is going to be taking it. Almost is able to thread it through. Has Mason behind him. Should be able to get a pass forward.
Clemson defense, they continue to be stiff in their half. They're winning 50s right now, and they're keeping the pressure on. That's a player awkward. Canovo makes it a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, I think stiff really is a good way to describe it. It's almost like both teams are trying to get into a comfort zone, and it's just like you get that one little peak like Canovo had there, is able to get the shot off at half goal and just slide through the Syracuse defense.
And that's exactly what Rocket League is. It's a game of so thin margins, and if you can't make those margins in your favor, it's going to lead to moments like this where it comes down to one goal. It comes down to the last minute. It comes down to a potential shot from Syracuse, but that won't fall.
And it's really interesting, too, because Syracuse has had this offensive pressure there. Patrick gets the shot down, deflected, and now we're looking at Clemson offense once again.
So far, Clemson still keeping that pressure on, just as they've done all game, as here comes maybe a 5th goal. 3 players from Clemson up, and Syracuse have 2 go, and it's a mess in front of the net.
Yeah, you're not even worried about like double commits at this point. I think everyone's just looking for the ball and trying to hit it, trying to get it out of there.
Why double commit when the entire lobby can commit? I mean,
you got 6 in a corner right now.
New mechanics get invented every day. Who says Boost on the Beach can't add one to that?
Just in at half, gets the demo once again. Canovo and Chosen have just been absolutely destroying Syracuse cars.
And that's kind of the role that Chosen plays on this team. Like, he's the fun guy, but if you're not a Clemson fan, you hate him. He plays that enemy/villain role, and it's huge for Clemson right now as we approach the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, and if you're Syracuse, you can't just be sitting around the enemy goal with nothing happening for a full minute, right? You had so many shots off. You had the rotate. You might have been able to get the pass, but you have to convert. The time is now.
And yeah, like you said, the time is now. 20 seconds left. You need to find a goal probably in the next 10. What a close save for Clemson. And now Syracuse has to reset, trying to keep things going. Counterattack, finding a 3rd player up top. But what a save from, I believe that was Masao.
Oh, Gavilon has just had the ball in his hand for the last minute. Yep, now or nothing.
Another great save from Canovo. That ball hits the ground, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll stay up for a little while longer. No, it will not. Clemson by 2 goals in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're already looking at the old team versus the new team, talking about the old heads, they've already outperformed the old heads.
Yeah,
they got the one game. They weren't able to do that last year.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Snipes from Clemson, the previous team captain. He was going gray versus Masao. Look at that! Look at that beautiful ginger hair. And maybe I'm biased, but nonetheless, they look comfortable right now.
Yeah, and comfortable is where you want to be. You take that first set loss, first LAN ever. Now you're sitting here. You get that first game win in a pretty dominant, even though it was a little funky in how they got those goals, it was a pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah, I mean, for game 1, is Chosen's going to have a staring contest with us, but the cool thing about that last game was that we saw the teams unlock, really. There wasn't that weird middle ground where they were just banging the ball downfield and trying to see what happens. They were taking control. They were taking demos, possession, pressure. All of it builds up, and it's what makes these teams special. It's why they're here. And again, Clemson 0-1 so far. They need this game 2.
Yeah, and I think something to note is that due to you having this group where no one can get eliminated, you're going to play 5 other matches. Some teams might be working on some, specific techniques throughout these early games of the day. Okay, we played our first one. Okay, we feel comfortable on these computers. We got the Discord working. Now let's work on some specific techniques where it might be, hey, let's try to be super demo heavy this set. Maybe we weren't that way against UNCC.
Yeah, I mean, and again, in this best of 3, you don't get time to really make those decisions. So if you're going to go demo heavy, you got to do it now. You got to put everything on the line. If all 3 players have to be on the other team's goal, and if that's what it takes to score, then you got to figure that out. And honestly, if I'm the coach of Syracuse, I'm looking at that game. They played good. They played solid, but you add a few defensive backboard misses and not dodging demos, and it makes that difference. So I don't think they have to change anything too crazy. I think you just got to be a little quicker in your rotations, and hopefully it'll put you in the right spot. Yeah, I think you got to be a little quicker with the rotation, maybe be a little bit more vocal about where you are going to rotate to, especially on that defensive end. And we will see very shortly if the adjustments will be made. But
yeah.
as of right now, I mean, the biggest thing for me is looking at these players is the smiles on the faces of the Clemson side versus the laser focus of the Syracuse side. And this has become a recent conversation in Collegiate Rocket League is, what's the meta? Do you have fun? Not troll, obviously, but do you enjoy the game, or do you lock in and every single moment must be pre-planned?
It does seem like the teams that are really demo heavy tend to have more fun. Watching it up there, the Northeastern guys are kind of, smiling a lot, laughing a lot. We see it here with Clemson right now. So maybe the true path to happiness in life is just demoing a lot of cars.
Violence is probably never the answer, and maybe we shouldn't endorse that, but...
No, you just go to, you got to go to like those warehouses that have like old lamps and whatnot. And you wear like protective gear and you smash them with sledgehammers. Get out your anger in a constructive way.
I forget what it's called, but honestly, you might as well call it DFH Stadium right now, because that's what it feels like. This feels like the room where people are going in, they're smashing things, breaking windows, breaking axles, and I mean, hey, it's working. You can't complain.
Yeah, in the way that they're implementing the demo is really interesting, because it's almost just like a pure stall tactic, where I think we saw a lot of Chosen's demos when they're in defense. It's not, we're not going to try to demo the defender to get an advantage on offense. We're doing it so we have stifling Syracuse's offense.
Yeah, and that's that next level. If you can find that second or third man and knock him out and then get a massive clear downfield, you're looking at a 3v1, a 3v2, a 2v1, a 2v2. I mean, the mismatches are so easy to find once you find that next level of demos, but so far Clemson the only one seeming to find that. Yeah, Northeastern
very demo heavy. We saw a lot of that, but they weren't able to get many conversions off of it in that previous game. They might have, talked about it. We will be seeing them up next, I believe, as well. So see how they adjust. Too bad they have to go against Harrisburg University, I believe, just due to the frequency of matches. Currently the #1 seed for the entire tournament, just with that individual game win.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big win for Harrisburg. I mean, it's going to put them probably in the first seed of their group, which is massive when you're looking at both Maryville and Ole Miss on the other end. But, I mean, speaking of looking at the other end, I mean, right behind us, this is Clemson. Again, they look laser-focused. They look happy. They're having fun. They're relaxed. I mean, they're still smiling, and we've been on a kind of a short break here. Yeah, you got to ride the high of the win. Yeah, these Clemson guys are probably middle of the pack, and that's where it's really interesting. I think there are a lot of clear top 4 teams just based on the insane rosters. MMR, we have like 4 CRL rosters basically. They're going crazy. You might as well call them RLCS rosters. Yeah. Yes. And then taking a step down, I think there's a massive pool of teams that can secure that 3rd seed. Maybe even try to fight for that 2nd seed getting out of these groups. Which, I mean, looking at Group A, I mean, obviously this is what we're looking at with Syracuse Clemson. Funny enough, I have them both at the bottom of Group A. Maybe I'm a hater, and maybe broadcast and Syracuse won't like that. But I have Northeastern and UNC above. But if Clemson can take this, I mean, it's going to boost them up. I mean, you don't want to be the last overall seed because you know exactly who's waiting on you. Yeah, and the really weird thing, too, is we could get to the potential where we have, like, a bunch of weird ties, like, where they're right next to each other, because you did mention that you had both of these teams near the bottom. But if the match ends up setting how it's currently where, so we get Clemson, 2-0 win or something of that sort, you have Clemson beating Syracuse, who beat Northeastern, and then you throw UNCC in this mix somewhere. That's 4 teams that are basically, like, cross-tied with one another. Yeah, I mean, and we don't even know how Northeastern's going to do against Clemson yet either. So, I mean, I'm here for chaos. The last LAN that I was a part of, there was a 3-way tie-in group stage. So if I bring that, I'm sorry. But, I'm kind of here for it. It'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, don't worry. We got precautions in place here to break some ties. At worst case, I think we're count out goals. So in any tie that has Polar on the team, I think they just win automatically because Homie dropped 7 goals, I think. Yeah, something light. Some slight. Yeah, 7 for 7, 7 shots, 7 goals. Why not? 7 for 7 against another RLCS team. I mean, that's just what Boost on the Beach is going to deliver. We're going to have top-tier players, top-tier teams, and they're going to show y'all all throughout today. We still have so many more games coming up. I mean, I have a long list of games to watch. Group B, in my opinion, is the hardest group. Yeah. So when that starts later this afternoon, y'all are going to be in for a treat. But for now, I mean, still talking Group A, things still panning out, and I mean, Clemson's still just trying to fight for that 2nd game. Yeah, and things really do shift now because you're feeling good, you have the little break, you're smiling. If Syracuse comes out and turns the tide immediately and it is just turning to 1-1, that's a hard mountain to climb.
try to get over there. Yeah, taking a look at Group A with Harrisburg on top. We already talked about the teams that won. UNCC had that victory over Clemson right here. Harrisburg did defeat WVU, and Syracuse just beat Northeastern before coming down here to play on stage.
Yeah, to all the viewers at home, y'all take your scrapbooks out because West Virginia will be nowhere near the bottom of this table after this picture right here. I mean, they're probably going to go through and just dominate for the rest of the day, and they'll be right back up there with Harrisburg. But again, we talked about this, those 4 teams, and especially if Clemson wins this, arguably all toss-ups.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a West Virginia hater out there, take your screenshots now and post them on Twitter because this is the lowest they're going to be in the standings the entire weekend.
Shoot, I might pull my phone out right now and change my predictions, but I mean, look, they're all looking good. These are all still very talented teams, and that's the special part about Boots on the Beach 24. Of course, nothing against 23. But with 4 RLCS teams and then the talent pool, that's the same from 23 almost. I mean, it's spicy over here.
Yeah, it's bigger and better, like all things should be. Shout out to Texas. Yeah, I mean, we see some of the matches that are going to be coming up. On side stage, I believe we will be pulling Northeastern and Harrisburg next.
It is, yep.
And then at the start of the hour for 12 o'clock, we have Northeastern against UNCC. Another one of those weird 4 matches that'll probably actually determine who can get that 3rd seed. And then we will have Harrisburg against Syracuse. That's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be going on.
All the Harrisburg ones, yeah, it's going to be going on.
It's going to be going on. And funny enough, Clemson will get a kind of a last-second chance on stream. I mean, they're going to play Northeastern at 1 p.m. As y'all can see, that slowly leaving away.
Yeah, we got that Star Wars font ticking down.
Yep. But, I mean, every team, and I just realized as I'm saying this, like, Clemson's not the only team with a lot coming down to the wire. I mean, arguably the entire standings of both groups will come down to the wire. Now, maybe the top 2 is kind of predetermined in each group, but that whole bottom 4, I mean, again, and I'm going to keep saying this because I don't know how to describe it, but it's a toss-up. I don't know who to pick.
Yeah, it's really just flip your coin of who you want in 1 and 2.
Yep.
And then looking at the rest, it's like, well, I guess on paper this one might be better than this one, but a lot of these teams, due to like not being at that RLCS level, have some pretty unique gameplay that might not be the meta, might not be the new wave, but can kind of match up better against another team.
Well, and that's just the great thing about Rocket League is that it just depends on the day. It depends on how you're feeling. I mean, who knows what these guys ate for breakfast, but Clemson obviously got more, and they're showing it so far. And, I mean, even in all the games we've seen, I mean, it's such fine, close margins. It comes down to that one last bumper demo. And every game, no matter the level, that's what we love about Rocket League. It's going to be close. It's going to be fast-paced. You'll have me blowing out your eardrums, and we're just having fun.
Yeah, and never forget the fun. That's the best part. That's why we're all here. It's fun to win. It's fun to play games. It's fun to get in person and play with everyone. Players are smiling. Players are laughing.
Well, and we're here at the Hangout, too, which is definitely one of the most
fun place.
Probably the most fun I've had on any vacation ever. Well, wait a minute. We're not on vacation. This is a work trip. But it is cool to be here at the Hangout. It's a wonderful venue. Having both stories to utilize and having people who are not even familiar with Rocket League at all come in and spectate what we're doing, it's such a cool experience.
Yeah, I think we'll actually have a really cool situation coming up at about like the 45-minute marker of every hour where we'll take a step back from the gameplay and the commentary. We'll all take a seat and then show what's going on in the venue because it gets crazy every hour on the hour.
Which that will be a surprise, and so will the result of Game 2. We're currently working out some tech issues, but don't worry, we're going to come right back to you very soon.
we're children of the sun. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat.
And welcome back. Everybody loves Rocket League and all of its little quirks and details, but we got everything fixed and we're going to be heading back into Game 2 of Round 1 pools, or I guess Group A pools for Boost on the Beach 2024 with Syracuse and Clemson.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Rocket League event without a little bit of delay, but now we finally get to bring you Game 2. Clemson looking to move to 1-1, a major win towards the middle of this group, it would be.
Yeah, and started the exact same way as the last game where Syracuse goes for the attack, doesn't get a conversion, but at least this time there's no goal rolling in from half court.
Yeah, I mean, again, I expect this to go down to the wire. Originally had it going to 3, but Northeastern Syracuse has a lot of work to do. They didn't look bad from a kind of coaching standpoint, but mechanically they have to lock in, and that's a great save from Gavilan.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to see if you are a Syracuse fan. You saw that they're properly communicating as we're seeing the first of many potential demolitions from Canovo.
I don't think it's potential. I think it will happen.
Inevitable.
Chaos is inevitable as now Clemson putting the pressure right back on. Keep a look at this right here. One player going towards 2. That's what Clemson is doing right now. And you cannot have one player beat 2 or 3, but now Syracuse beats 1. One player gets traded. It's a wide open net. Player spawns in late. Not going to save it. 1-0 Syracuse.
Yeah, got to make it look pretty if it's open at least. Had a lot of fun with it. I think Mason was in the air for like 10 seconds, just having fun looking at it. Pretty easy goal. Not the way you want to start if you're Clemson, though.
Yeah, I mean, he beats the first man, and second man's positioned to follow, but then third man gets demoed, and nobody's on the back half. And so that's just going to be an easy walk-in for Syracuse, but Clemson still very much in this game.
Yeah, it's probably going to be neck and neck for the first 3 or so minutes. And then it's probably going to hit that defensive wall where we saw Clemson just hold on, didn't allow anything, had like 10 shots on goal, every one of them blocked, rotated perfectly. And we are seeing Syracuse on a pretty efficient
it's close.
move.
It's close. It's a great air dribble from Mason, but could not get that next touch. But look, wait a minute. Syracuse is knocking at the door, but Clemson's there to answer.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Gavilan's dancing on the roof while Patrick was right there to set up the perfect shot. Can we get the deflection?
Close shot. Nothing really developing just yet. Again, now we find ourselves in the lull that we expected, but this one might be the end. But what a great clear from Clemson. But the counterattack not going to fall. It's going to be Syracuse still going. Ball's going backboard. Player awkward. Mason, last man back, makes the play.
And that's what you need to see if you're going to be trying to keep up this relentless offensive push. You have to be able to rotate back and protect your own goal if you're Syracuse.
And if you're Clemson, you got to keep the pressure, but your third man cannot keep disappearing as that shot very luckily not going to roll in as now Syracuse, that's 2 players beat, but then Canovo rips it away, and that's going to be an easy clear.
Oh, and we have the demo for Mason this time instead of on Mason. Going to be able to, get a little bit of a tempo advantage there if you're Syracuse, move to the competitor side of the court. And now we're back to play.
And Clemson just no possession so far. I mean, there's just time after time. They're throwing themselves at this ball, ripping it downfield. They kind of looked like they had no land jitters, and then things are kind of slowly regressing in this game, too, as that shot goes bottom side. Gavilan won't get it. Pat gets bumped. Clemson, it's a miss. Here comes the second try, but is anybody there to answer? It's Mason who goes middle, but nobody there for Syracuse.
You can't even catch your breath if you're looking at this. It looks like every single time they're going to set up, we're going to have, some pretty good rotations. Another demo.
It's close over the middle. Here comes Mason. It goes off a player off the top rope and in.
Syracuse looks pretty good right now. Maybe the break benefited them, and maybe the break took a little too much wind out of the sails of Clemson.
I mean, hey, maybe they had tech issues that caused that game 1 loss. Who knows? You know, we can always make excuses all day, but Clemson can't really do that yet. They're just simply getting beat right now. Is that play? You had 2 players who just sat down and waited for the pass to develop. And Clemson, they're supposed to be getting their demos. As now here comes the bumps, and now the counterattack's back on. But once again, they throw possession away. But this one's close. 2 players from Clemson go. Here comes third man, Chosen. What little boost he has, can't get the dunk.
And now we are seeing the solid rotation, the solid positioning from Syracuse to not allow any of those funky or unfortunate goals that they allowed in the previous game. It's all about solid gameplay, and Patrick is solidly attacking the goal. Mason behind. He's just off target.
He was solidly attacking the goal, but slowly the Syracuse defense starts to liquidate a little bit, kind of drip off. But now this Clemson side still getting pressure on. That's 2 players from Syracuse. Massive pinch downfield. Third man putting pressure on. And now Chosen just having to play the 50. Here comes another player from Syracuse. The pressure, relentless. The double touch is close, but it's not on.
And Mason not committing there. I think Syracuse is kind of stating, we're going to be pretty safe here. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to rotate. We have a 2-goal lead in sub-minute time. There's no reason to risk anything right now.
Yeah, and there's no need to, as that's an incredible shot from Mason that somehow doesn't find it. Now, Clemson has 1 player left. It's Gavilon, but that's a great play from him. And Clemson, no boost, gets beat once again. No, this is Patrick looking for a shot, and it might not be Patrick, but it's almost a Syracuse shot.
Yeah, and it's just Syracuse saying, oh, Mason has the open net.
And 1.
And Patrick steals the goal.
No, this is Patrick. He does get denied the first time, but finds that one, and that's going to be the dagger on this one.
Yeah. And now you take the time to just sit back if you're Clemson, trying to talk about what happened. I mean, just from, looking for the last 5 minutes, it seems like the lack of demos were there. We talked about, the chaos being inevitable. I don't think Clemson was able to bring the chaos much into this match to, impact some things. So maybe it's how do we target that? What is the cause of that? Is it, do I just need to go for way more aggressive plays? Do we need to kind of disrupt some of these rotations, as Syracuse does take game 2 to bring it to a 1-1 series score?
Yeah, Clemson slows down, but Syracuse speeds up. And now we're starting to see a few smiles come out. Everyone's still locked in, but it's still a clash of play styles and metas right now. And it almost felt like a complete flip. I mean, Clemson, they had possession, they had opportunities, but almost every time it was blasted downfield or given away. And, as much as we want to sit here and say, oh, Clemson's not making the right decisions, they're getting starved. They have no boost, nothing to pull from, whereas we watch Syracuse air dribble over 2 without any momentum, just kind of hops over and finds Mason in the middle, and that's the difference.
Yeah, I think talking about the boost allocation so far in that game is really important, is because, as you mentioned, Masao had a really great look once, had 25 boosts. What are you going to do with that?
Exactly. And, well, last time these teams played, it was 3-0. Game 2 follows the same suit, and now we find ourselves in a do-or-die on Champions Field, a field with so much history as we try to write our own here at Boost on the Beach.
Yeah, and everything that's happened in each of the first games is what happens with this first goal. Syracuse came out quite strong in game 2. I think scored within the first 30 seconds or so. Really solid goal as well. Wasn't one of those little scrappy ones. And we see Masao challenge. Gets the shot off.
It's a great turn from Syracuse, though, and that's a double commit, but Mason doesn't waste too much boost, so he's still in the play. And again, that's another Clemson 50 that just doesn't go the way that they need it to, as this ball isn't either. And again, Clemson just has to throw it away.
Yeah, it's looking a lot like hockey here with how they're trying to ice the puck. And speaking of pucks, Canova just hit a slap shot, got it into the goal. And that's how you want to start in this game 3 if you are Clemson.
As a great dunk from who I believe was Chosen, or I couldn't even tell, but Canovo, I can tell, slots that one perfectly, finds the sliver of the bar, one that is legendary in Rocket League, that either will deny you the goal or give you it like that, but Clemson's not out just yet.
And now we're looking at least a little bit of a different way that you're getting the ball out. Syracuse isn't just chucking it down and just, reset, come back at us. They're at least trying to take the ball outside of their own half of the field, take it, let's get some solid foundational play, move forward, get a good rotate, pass it along. And now we are seeing them have a solid attack. Mason there to recover the deflection. Patrick going in.
Oh, huge touch from Clemson, and like you mentioned, that's what you have to do. You have to be a little more conscious of what you're doing, as this is a wide open net. Clemson, dead center. Canovo picks up his second. Or,
No, you're right.
was that his first? His
No,
second?
his second.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, homie had the dunk in the first
update
one.
on the scoreboard for a second.
Hey, Rocket League has its quirks, man.
It is a well-optimized game, and Clemson is a well-oiled machine so far. That's a parallel to draw so far in the first minute of this game.
Still a lot of time, though. 2 goals in the first minute. More goals than both teams have scored in the last game.
And Clemson has a golden chance to get a third there, which would have been huge for them, but they won't find it. Now it opens the door for Syracuse, and then that demo's going to keep it just cracked a little bit, but Masao, the one-man army, backboard. What a clear, though.
Yeah, now we're seeing the Syracuse taking a note out of Clemson's book there, gets the demo, gets another demo, and now you're able to delay the attack.
And it's starting to feel like
Get a look
game
that you
two.
like.
It's starting to feel like game 2. Once again, Syracuse gets that midfield possession. They find the demo. It's a 3v2. The spawn's awkward, and nobody gets to it from Clemson. They're not out just yet.
And this is where the momentum really shifts. You're in game 3. And you need this win if you're Clemson. I mean, you need this win if you're Syracuse, but you need this win if you're Clemson. And just allowing that one goal, seeing your lead dramatically dwindle downwards could be the turning point for Syracuse to take the advantage, take advantage of Clemson's, new wave of momentum.
Yeah, the urgency is something that both teams need to feel. And so far, Syracuse seems to be feeling it more. That's a close shot. It's a close pass. Backflip from Clemson, but nobody's there. You see Syracuse still, though, keeping pressure. Chosen, awkward. Ball's just barely off his hood, but Syracuse still going. Pass goes ceiling. Nobody's middle, though.
Yeah, and Syracuse is just taking the safe approach. They had 2 back on the rotation there. Kind of just saying, Gab, if you get the goal, you get the goal. We'll wait for the next look.
And Syracuse will find the next look. Ball falls down, off the bar. Ball still on, but not going to find the back of the net. Last man from Syracuse gets beat. Clemson staring at an open net, looking for a pass middle, and maybe for another lead, but what a save from Mason.
And Patrick, once again, with a 3rd demo in the last minute. Mason's able to take it to the other side of the court.
Ball's going to go backboard. Player's awkward, but that's a great calm to let Gavilan go for that and rip that one out. But Clemson now starting to find their boost again. They're starting to find their rhythm, but Masao won't even get the chance to dance.
Yeah, and Patrick's there to hit the demo. Hey, you're not getting comfortable against me.
I mean, that right there is what you have to do. You're already down
Patrick
1.
again.
Ball goes middle. There's a 3rd man. It's Pat. Back to a player who might opt for the wall. Yes, he will. It's Gavilan with a flip. With a player middle. Right side. 2-2.
Patrick, dude.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time. It is so close, and it's such a close save from Clemson. They've been so quick to block those passes off in the last few minutes, but just like that, the Syracuse offense, it's relentless. It's going to wear you down until you can't take it anymore. And now, Clemson, though, still finding pressure. It's a good 50, and now another quick follow-up. Ball goes middle. Ball stays in the middle. It's an awkward shot, and now Syracuse trying to get something going. Ball goes middle again, but both teams' second man, they're being so cautious. You're in a Game 3 Champions Field, less than 2 minutes to go. You're just so nervous as now Masao finds a demo, but Syracuse finds a bump.
Yeah, it's almost like Masao's going too deep there. We need the demo. We need the demo. Not looking at where the ball is and where everyone else is positioned, because Mason was able to take it past half court, and now we're looking at that stifling Syracuse offensive position once again.
People will say defense wins championships, and for Clemson, they have to prove that point right now, and they need this touch right here, but they don't find it. Ball goes topside. Ball stays middle. Shot left. Syracuse takes the lead with a minute left.
And all the momentum is just going in Syracuse's favor. It was that 2-0. You saw that 2-1. Clemson maybe, scratching their head, being like, ooh, I don't know if we can hold on to this. You see that 2-2. And that last offensive stymieing position from Syracuse is able to secure the first lead of this game for them.
And now with a minute left, this is where teams on land have to prove to everyone what they're all about, as that's a close shot. But these underclassmen, it's 2 freshmen and a sophomore for Clemson, and they have to prove themselves against the experienced Syracuse roster with 50 seconds left.
Yeah, you got the super seniors against the first years. And that's kind of a, you're looking at the freshman against the senior in high school. That's like a 100-pound difference. That's a foot difference. It is David versus Goliath, and Goliath has the lead.
I will say that the margins don't feel that large, though. Clemson's still very much in this. But again, look, no boost for almost any Clemson player. And Syracuse, they do have boost. They have a second follow-up shot. It's a soft touch. Backboard. What a save. Clemson stays alive.
Clemson stays alive, but at what cost? That entire sequence burned about 20 seconds, and the clock is still ticking. You could defend all you want, but if you're not able to get the goal here, it doesn't matter.
And now ball goes up, but that's a great play to get past two. But now Canovo has a chance to keep Clemson in it. He's past two, but he doesn't follow it. Now the counterattack, and 3 seconds left. Ball stays up. Ball is still up. Is he going to get there? Canovo gets not a touch, and it's a close game 3. Heartbreaking, but a massive win for Syracuse.
And yeah, you still don't see any smiles. Business as usual for them. They do the fist bumps. They're going to walk away. 2-0 in their group phase so far.
It is so early in the group stage, but it is also so crucial because of how talented every team is. And Clemson falls to 0-2. They still have a very solid chance of making it out, but such a massive win for Syracuse.
Yeah, and just as a consolation prize, getting any game win is very important when they're determining, you know, what team is going to be where when we get into these tiebreakers, because there are only 5 matches apiece for all of these teams for that group play. And so it's not like, you know, you're not walking away empty-handed per se. You have the 0-2 in the scorecard, but when you go over, you did have that game 3.
Yeah, and normally just looking at how these groups normally get 5-0, 4-1, 3-2, 2-3, and now you already have 2 of your losses, and you now are maybe 1 more away from falling to those bottom 2 spots. And I mean, looking at the top 4 is very, very clear. And then the bottom, if you fall to those bottom 4 slots in groups, you're definitely going to face the top 4, and then your careers here at Boost on the Beach 24 will be cut short. And unfortunately, we have had our fun. We do have to kind of cut it short as well, but the Rocket League action is going to be going on all day. We will be here all day. You'll see our beautiful faces soon.